loud and oh so wrong. I say ooh, not ooh, but I say wee. And he just looks at me and just exhales and goes, how are you paying for your items today? Hey you! Hello beautiful people! My name is Savannah, but on the internet I go by SavvyC, and welcome back to SavvyC Scoop. As you can tell by the title, today's video is all about my French speaking journey as an American living in Paris. This video has been highly requested and I thought now is the perfect time to do so. And throughout this video I'm going to share and start off with some embarrassing stories. Of course, you know, I gotta humble myself just a bit. Then share what I felt was my watershed breakthrough moment of having the confidence and the ability and just confidence and ability to speak to native Parisians, to other French people out loud in public and not being terrified and having an anxiety attack. And then close out with some resources and things I feel like you all watching can implement and start right away to help along with your journey. But first, before we get into all of that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and the bell button for notifications. There we go. We're still working on it. Still learning. Okay, I'm still new to this whole YouTube thing. Okay, give me some grace and hit the bell button. All right, so I'll give you some time to do it real quick. All right, let's get into it. First off, for some context, I graduated from Baylor University, sick and bells, whoop, whoop, with a bachelor's degree in journalism with a minor in French, so I had a base. However, there's a huge difference in gap between having French class 2-3 times a week in an Anglophone environment versus stepping foot into Charles de Gaulle airports and having the announcements, people, most of the signs, etc. being in French, en français seulement. So I got here and I was severely humbled. It felt like I lost all my French to an extent. However, though, I kept going and I kept pursuing, and I urge you to do the same. So let's now get into these embarrassing stories. So first up is the first time I went to the Apple Store on the Chocolaterie. So this was my third day here, literally third full day here, where I was like, I woke up and went to sleep in Paris, France. And I needed a charger. I was looking for the Global World Adapter Kit. It was very like, back then it was very like showing pictures and like game of charades. And I showed it to him and he was like, wait, blah, blah, blah. And so he was like, spell your name out. But he said that in French. Remember, I got that much. He was like, your name. And I said it and he's like, spell it. And to this day too, I struggle with O and U. And so Cooper, that's the SavvyC stands for Cooper, my last name, Cooper, and I still to this day, like, I'll say ooh or like it's a little hard for my American mouth. Then cut to about 30-45 minutes later after he like books my appointment and tells me to come back at this time, blah blah. I come back, wait in line, or only went in line, go straight to the front, wait outside the door of the physical store doors. And this other guy comes, and he was cute too. And he comes to me, he's like, bonjour mademoiselle, blah, 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 blah. I don't remember what he said verbatim, but you know, something in French. And the other guy, oh my gosh, this is the worst part. The other guy who helped me the first time goes to him, or like not even goes to him, yells across out loud in front of everyone in French. I don't know what he said verbatim. Basically, it was something along the lines of like, hey yo guys, she'll speak no French. She's American. And I've just never been so humiliated because he said that, right? At first I'm just like, because back then I was really trying to like blend in and like hide that I was American. I don't know why, but I think it's just natural, like human nature, you're trying to fit into your new environment. And so I was just like, oh, okay, yeah. And I think what was the worst part that just put like the cherry on top after he like said that was the other guy who was like right in front, like right in front of me, looks me up and down and says, okay, and then leaves. Hurt my chest. I was like, oh, so embarrassing. But we keep pushing, we power through, and that is the end of story number 1. Story number 2, first time at IKEA. I guess you guys are gonna pick up my theme, huh? Talking my first times. I vlogged about this as well. Those are my first vlogs of Paris content, so if you guys want to go check that out, feel free. But what I kept conveniently left out, and purposely left out to mention in that vlog, was when I got to the checkout line at IKEA. So back then, there's only one IKEA in Paris proper in 75. Now there's another one near the Louvre that's more like decorations, and there's like the big one, like all the warehouse items, is near Charles de Gaulle Airport in the north. And so I was going there, just getting a few decorations because my place in the 16th was already fully furnished, but just like a little, you know, SavvyC decorations on top. And again, back then, my French, woo, pardon, it was a little shaky. So what I would do, I would just eavesdrop like crazy on the people in front of me and just listen and be like, okay. And then Lily would like mimic them or copy them or just like try to put context clues together, because again, I was just so starting to like, I'm speaking French, we're in France, speaking French, blah, blah, blah. And so, but this time around, it did not help. I was scared. I was genuinely scared, because he was just saying like, blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, what is this happening? Like, it was really quick interactions, and I couldn't pick up on a single word. So it gets to me, and I'm like, oh, here we go. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. I don't have a script. We're gonna have to just improv, and here we go, you know, help me Lord. So he gets to me and he's like, bonjour, mademoiselle. I'm like, bonjour, you know, because I got you on that. I get you on a bonjour. So we say that, and then he's like, okay, bonjour. And in French, I remember now, he said, vous payez comment aujourd'hui? And I was like, oh, I don't know what these words mean after mademoiselle and before aujourd'hui. But I was like, okay, it's fine, we'll figure it out. So I take a deep breath in, and that deep breath, I was like, and loud. Oh, so wrong. I say, ooh, not ooh, but I say, wee. And he just looks at me and just exhales and goes, how are you paying for your items today? Humiliated, embarrassed, humiliated, want to disappear from that line in that moment. And Sue, I think the people behind me heard me and they started laughing. I would have been so embarrassed in my life, but you know, these things happen. I can laugh at it now. That's in my past. And that's the end of story number 2. Next up, story number 3 is another one actually I've talked about before on a old story time of the first date I went on with a French man since moving here, or yeah, even ever before in the States. I haven't dated anyone who was French. And met him on Champs-Élysées. He just asked me on the spot. We exchanged numbers, or not numbers. He had my Instagram and went from there. And so we went to this restaurant, this great restaurant called La Gare, which is like train station in French. And we go, we're there, we're speaking very like franglais. Translator apps are open on both of our phones. Let us speak to the phone, let us type into the phone and join the other person, blah, blah, blah. And overall it was like going like pretty like solid. Like it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like best date ever gonna happen again. But it was fine, like we got through it. And at the second restaurant we went to, I'm blanking on the name of that second restaurant now, but anyways, the second restaurant we went to, I was just asking questions, we were just like engaging in the conversation, and I kept saying et vous. So for those who don't know, when it comes to French, maybe other languages it does this, but I can only speak for French right now. There's formal and informal versions to say you. So like there's tu, so like tu et toi, or like vous, formal, and et vous. So I kept saying et vous to people across the board. How it works is like informal as it sounds is the more casual ways if you're hanging out with a peer, a friend, you're on like a date with someone, like someone that you see as like an equal or someone that you're casually with. That's what you use to, that form. Versus vous is for like your boss, elders, professors, I don't know, like politicians, or just like people that, you know, you aren't close to in that sense of fashion. Is just showing a form of respect. And so I kept saying et vous, et vous, et vous. And I remember one time I said it and he was like, stop. And he's just shaking. She's like, stop. He's like, I'm not your elder. Like, please stop saying et vous. Turns out though we were, you know, 6 years apart. So I was like, oh, God, 6 years more. But I'm joking. But that was a really funny time and just a great little grammar lesson that I am happy to share with you. So be sure to keep in mind that there's the to form and the vous form, and try not to switch them up and know the difference so that you won't, maybe perhaps offend someone or get into a sticky situation. Watched that and was just like, okay, got it. Just, I want to communicate with others. Bump grammar right now, bump proper, pronunciation and everything, bump my perfect French accent. Because I'm American, I won't, have that anytime soon, if at all. But just having the goal and the determination and the focus to just want to properly communicate with others in French is all that I need. And seeing that really just reminded me of that. And then less than a week later, coming back from this club, and I get home around like 6:15, 6:30, and I had one of the best Uber drivers ever. I wish maybe I could go back, could find his name or something, but he came here to Paris from Iran in the year 2000 and knew not an ounce of French, not a lick of French, knew nothing about French culture. And he was just telling me what he did verbatim, step by step, to just learn French, get integrated with the culture, understand French people, understand Parisians especially. Because Parisians, I feel like, are a lot different than your average, French person from around the country. And just really just broke it down for me and just was encouraging me and just gave me the best pep talk ever at 6 in the morning. And those moments really stuck with me of just wanting to communicate and then just being open to making mistakes, learning a new word once a day, once a week, new phrase, implementing things, exploring. I had my own personality with it, mimic accents, listen to accents, etc. And it was just a great conversation. So implementing those two things were the watershed moments that shifted in my language speaking journey, and being confident to speak in French out loud and not really caring about embarrassing myself or not coming out flawless. Lastly, as promised, here are some resources and things I believe you can implement right away when it comes to improving or just adding to your French language learning journey. First up, try thinking in French. As strange or as odd as this may sound, just practice thinking to yourself privately, one-on-one in French, and just, I feel like that's a good way of getting out of that comfort zone and really challenging yourself. Next, text someone in French if possible. So send DMs, text, WhatsApp, whatever. Just have someone you can write with, kind of a French pen pal almost, if you will, somebody you can just practice writing with. Again, just getting you in that habit and getting your fluency and comfortability with the language. Third, start a French-based series. I feel like this is a pretty common piece of advice, but I think it's a good one. Because before I would watch shows that were based in either the States or just Anglophone shows and then have them dubbed in French with French subtitles. But I think it's not a bit different. It's a huge difference and a lot better to watch French-based series. So Lupin, Plan Coeur, Family Business, because you also get the cultural nuances as well, especially for Plan Coeur, based in Paris. As of 3 women, it was just really cool to just see, and you pick up on little things that a show that was based in the States wouldn't really properly give you. Next, start reading a children's book. You heard me getting back to the basics. Where's my book? I can't find it. I'll put a picture in here. I have started Charlie and Chocolate Factory en français, and it has been très bien, let me tell you. And it's cool too because you can help you with your grammar, and with it being a children's level, it's really base and you can comprehend it, understand it, but also learn new words and use context clues, and again with grammar, so a great way to improve your speaking. Next, read music lyrics and just listen to music or podcasts perhaps, and read along with their transcripts. Again, it's a great way to hear it and see it, and then if you want to, add another level of speaking it out loud, I think that's a great way, especially with lyrics. You can after a while you can start picking up, you'll have a line or two or a word or two, and then you blink and you're like, oh, hold on, I know the chorus, okay, and then come on, you're so I think that's a great way to just one, again, learning a language and learning the culture as well. Then last but not least, take classes with a native speaker. Which brings me to an exciting announcement. If learning French is on your 2023 vision board, then Coucou French classes is the perfect place for you, mon ami. I not only partnered with them to give you all a 10% discount for their group classes with code AUP10*, but I also had the great privilege to interview the co-founders and cousins, Leia and Marianne.
I love Emily in Paris.
I don't know if that's what you expected, but I think you probably have like one of the only two French people.
Yes. I was like, yes, I'm shocked, but great.
We told so many people that we were going to do it. Like, we're like, you know, when you're young, you're like, yeah, we're like opening a business in New York. We're going to open a school. That when you tell the world that you're going to do something, then you kind of have to follow through. And
as small business owners, as language teachers, and pushing those people in the world, take me back to March 2020, when that changed the world as we know it. I already see the reaction on your face that the new name of that.
It's more about the journey than about the end result, and that's really important, because when it's about the journey, you get there. You forget how you got there. But like when you're focused on like, I have to speak like that level of French, or I have to like be able to say that, and like it becomes a stress. That's when people give up.
That's all I have for you guys today. Merci beaucoup pour regarder la video. I hope you enjoyed it and got some encouragement, entertained a bit throughout it. Be sure to like this video, subscribe for more, and comment down below your experiences with French and speaking it and learning it as a foreigner, or just someone who just didn't grow up in a francophone environment. I love to hear your experiences, and as well to add any resources or tips or tricks that I didn't mention. More the merrier. Share the wealth, spread the wealth. As always, I'm sending my love to wherever you are and wherever you're watching this, and I will see you guys in the next one. A bientôt!